The Avs' goal is to make everyone lose faith in them before the start of the playoffs. They're doing a pretty good job. Avs lose to the Vegas Golden Knights 4-3 in overtime. Look, I don't actually care about the actual result of this game at all, to be honest with you. Win or lose, whatever. Not really that big a deal to me. I care more about what the Avalanche looked like. And that's a complicated discussion, because the Avs spent 2 periods pretty clearly being the better team in this hockey game. And then they spent 1 period barely playing hockey at all. It's weird that the same game can give you confidence that the Avs are in fact a good team and fill you with dread about the fact that the Avs can't do it consistently. The first period is by far the best period of the game for the Avs, and they start off right with some depth scoring. This is classic quality Avalanche hockey. Vegas loses a puck getting the offensive blue line, and the Avs are immediately up and out of the zone, with Makar flipping a puck up to Miles Wood, and the Avs are going the right direction quick. From there, they get the zone, and this is just hard work for Miles Wood to not give up on a play, to get it to Ross Colton. Ross Colton throws this puck on net. This is nothing special. This should not be a goal, and yet the puck finds its way into the net. Now, that goal is definitely soft from Vegas' side of things, but if you're looking for an encouraging sign heading towards the playoffs, the Avs' depth forwards producing goals is going to be a key for them to get through some rounds. Keep in mind, this Vegas team is trying to chase down LA for the 3rd spot in the Pacific right now, so they definitely had plenty to play for here, and the Avs went right at them and were better for 2 periods. If you're looking for more reasons to be excited, the Avs' best players are still very good. Off of a lost faceoff, the Avs show another classic of theirs when they're playing well. A high-pressure forecheck. Lehkonen is able to force a turnover. It's a bit squirrely, but he continues to battle for the puck until eventually Nathan MacKinnon comes in and helps. And then Nathan MacKinnon is an all-world player. Vegas fully overcommits to this quadrant of the defensive zone, putting all 5 players there, which leaves a massive runway for Cale Makar to come in, and Nathan MacKinnon is an all-world player that can find him. Makar finishes the play. I know the Avs have not played a bunch of good games of late. In fact, you could argue they played a bunch of bad games of late. But Cale Makar has steadily moved in the right direction over this home stretch. They've been ramping up into the playoffs, or at least Cale Makar has been ramping up to the playoffs, and that's a big deal. For a lot of this season, Cale has not been at that peak performance level. Looks like he's going to hit his stride when the Avs are going to need it most. So great, you just dominated a team in playoff mode in the first period. You gave yourself a 2-goal lead. Critically, you didn't give any of that lead away in the first period like the Avs have so often done this season. You then go out and play a second period, which is much more even, but the Avs still get the better of it. 1, your goaltender played quite well through the second period of this game. He made some crucial saves that the Avs needed to maintain that lead. And 2, you get some production out of Mikko Rantanen playing on the Avs' second line. After forcing a turnover, this is great work by Casey Middlestat to go all the way up the ice and get the Avs into the offensive zone single-handedly. This play does not happen without Casey Middlestat getting them to where they're going. From there, they're set up, they are able to work it out to the perimeter, and a great read by Josh Manson here to see Mikko Rantanen standing undefended near this side of the crease. This is a pass all the way from Manson, and it's not read well by Hill in net, so Mikko's sand wedge play is going to work. This is really quality hockey from Colorado. It's this type of stuff you expect to see from a team confident going into the playoffs. You're up 3-0, 2 periods into this game. You really can't play a ton better than that if you're Colorado. Hockey games were 2 periods. I think you'd have a lot of confidence. You'd feel a lot better about this Avs team after a lot of the missteps they've had lately. But the third period of this game was another misstep as big as any of them. Colorado has a huge problem of late. When they give up 1 goal, they almost always give up more than 1. And that's tough to prevent, especially when the first one that goes in is this soft. Vegas deep in the Avs zone is eventually going to work this puck in behind the Avs net. It's a particularly normal wraparound setup that we see happen all the time. Now, it isn't the stuff at the post that we see all the time, but we've seen this play plenty this year, where it's an extended wraparound, they come out, they look for a shot on the far side, or maybe a pass across, something like that. We've even seen this goal go in on the Avs before, and it just can't. You just cannot get beat there. You don't need me to tell you NHL goaltenders cannot get beat by that. It's just simple. That 1 goal in a vacuum, is it bad? Sure, but it's not that big a deal if you keep it contained to just 1. Unfortunately, the Avs just start making brain-dead mistakes. Josh Manson just runs a dude over away from the puck for no reason. Just a wholly unnecessary penalty. When you take stupid penalties, you usually get punished. Avs on the penalty kill actually win this puck battle. It comes to Brandon Duhaime. This is a heinous failed clear. Absolutely no reason this puck should not be out of the zone. He had time and space even to go to his forehand side if that's what he wanted to do, but it's a weak flipped backhand that doesn't even come close to getting out of the zone, and now the Avs are scrambling defensively with tired legs on the penalty kill, and you know how that ends. Puck gets in deep, puck comes across the middle of the ice, and in fact, it's just a shot straight into the far side. So now you have a bad goal and a bad penalty, and it's a one-goal game just like that. And I haven't even mentioned the goal that got taken away from Vegas. It could be a tie game right now. It's not, because it was pretty clear goalie interference, so goal didn't count. But we could have been talking about a game that the Avs have already thrown halfway through the third. That would be too easy, right? Not painful enough for Colorado. In a one-goal game, at this point, with still, 14 minutes left in the third period, the Avs muster a grand total of 2 shots on goal in the third period. Just not competitive at all. Barely even playing hockey. And I know, it's a Sega Baba. The Avs' legs probably were running on fumes a little bit here, but that's still no excuse to just implode like this, particularly with how well they played in the first 2 periods. You directly, 10 minutes ago, you saw them play better hockey, and they just stopped. When you play an entire period without the puck, you better be pretty solid defensively. And the Avs eventually crack on that side of things. Avs pushing the puck in deep. This is Josh Manson going in deep. Not that unusual. We see the Avs defensemen do this a lot. But as they clearly lose possession of the puck, Manson is awfully casual in getting back defensively. He's a defenseman at the end of the day. I would like to see him get back more aggressively. Put that on him by himself. But at the same time, look at this play. There are 1 Avs players in front of him. He knows there should be 3 Avs players behind him. Even if some of them are forwards, there is some trust in Manson that his guy will be back there defending. And the reality is, Nathan MacKinnon is just lost. He just doesn't know where he's going. I think he's expecting Josh Manson to be back on this guy, but Manson isn't there because Manson is expecting Nathan MacKinnon to take this guy, and MacKinnon just doesn't. He even looks over and sees him, but doesn't recognize that that's his man until the puck is across and MacKinnon isn't able to defend effectively, and that puck's in the back of your net. Okay, so theoretically, in a world where you've decided to not play any offense, in a world where you've seen a 3-goal lead turn into a 1-goal lead and your objective is to turtle your way through the game, you would think that you would probably like to keep the entire other team in front of you and not give up breakaways, right? I'm just saying, there's a serious disconnect there in the style of play they were electing for and the way they were actually playing. Again, the actual result of this game didn't matter. By blowing that lead and playing that poorly in the third period, the Avs had already set themselves up for extreme disappointment. Didn't even ultimately matter who won this game. The fan base's frustrations were going to be there regardless. And the Avs still managed to make it worse. After taking 1 bad penalty, Josh Manson swings at a puck high in the air and high sticks a player right in the face for absolutely no reason. You just can't do it. The Avs have been doing it for 3 weeks, taking incredibly stupid penalties, and they just can't stop. They will not win playoff series by doing things like that. Did I mention that penalty comes 11 seconds left in regulation? So the Avs have to 4-on-3 penalty kill that thing in overtime. Does that work? Of course it doesn't. It's a 4-on-3 power play. There's not much to say here. What I will say is, across all of the faceoffs, which I think was 3 or 4 in overtime, they had Andrew Cogliano take them. Why? You have Yakov Trenin. Why is Cogliano the guy you're having take those faceoffs? I don't understand that. Anyway, virtually an impossible task to defend a penalty kill like this with just 3 guys, and a beautiful tip in front from Hurdle ends the game. There is nothing more to say here. The Avs showed the version of themselves that can win in the playoffs and showed the version of themselves that won't even be competitive in the playoffs in this game. However you feel about this team, you've likely already made up your mind on what you expect to see in the playoffs for Colorado. There's a reason they play the games. They have to actually go out and do one thing or the other, and then we'll know for real. But right now, you've just decided what you think you're going to see out of Colorado, and somebody will be right. Likely, it'll be somewhere in between, and we'll just have to experience it for whatever it is. It might be awesome. It might be horribly painful. The Avs are certainly capable of both in one game, let alone an entire series. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. Head on over to thednvr.com for all of our coverage. I am Rudo, and I wish the Avs would just figure out who they are.